Hi, my name is Cody Branch. I'm applying for the Spanish Training Coordinator position at the Missionary Training Center, and will respond to two questions in this recording. The first being, describe a time in which you've been able to help someone improve. Prior to my current position, I worked as a seminary teacher in seminaries and institutes of religion, and had this opportunity on a daily basis to see individuals changing and improving based on their application of gospel doctrines and principles. But I'll share one instance with one particular young man in which I really got to see this. I met this young man when he was a sophomore in high school, and I got to know him well and had a connection with him. But he confided in me that he just really doubted himself, that he could ever really become what Heavenly Father wanted him to become. Just didn't think that he could ever be good enough. And as I got to know him more and dug a little deeper, really the issue was he was defining himself based on mistakes that he had made in the past, and felt like those mistakes disqualified him from really becoming anything in the gospel in a spiritual sense. And therefore he didn't really think he could be active in the gospel, didn't think that he had any desire or could serve a mission. And so I got to see that starting point and worked with him, just trying to point him in the right direction to scriptural stories and to words of prophets that testified of the atonement and our ability to change. And as I worked with him closely and helped him kind of change his mindset, it was incredible to see what he did become from his sophomore year to his senior year. And I'm happy to report now that he's serving a mission and doing very well as a powerful missionary. I receive his letters weekly, and it's just a privilege to see that. And really, it was his application of the gospel doctrines and principles that changed his life. I just got to play a small part in pointing him to those things that would help him change. The second question is, as a training coordinator, how would I measure and define success? In my current role at BYU Idaho, I've been able to have a few projects come my way that have been related to outcomes and assessments at BYU Idaho. Outcomes and assessments, that's a big push in higher education right now. Outcomes being, what should a student be able to do by the end of taking a course? What should their experience provide for them? And then an assessment is assessing what those outcomes are. How do we know if we really are achieving what we're set out to achieve? And so I would use that mentality of outcomes and assessments to measure and define my success as a training coordinator. I know the MTC already has pretty clearly defined outcomes for instructors in classrooms and what a missionary should be able to do and what they should know by the end of their time or their training in the MTC. But I would want to make sure that those outcomes were clearly defined, and then also that there were good assessments to be able to identify whether or not those outcomes are being achieved. So I would measure the success as a training coordinator utilizing assessments, assessing our outcomes, and I would define success based on whether or not we are achieving those outcomes. So that's how I would respond to that second question. I thank you for your consideration and time in my behalf for this position, and look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.